Hey, what's up? It's Hugo here. Today I'll be doing a quick recap of Apple's event that occurred today, March 2nd. And of course, the main subject of the event is the iPad 2. Now, to start off with the event, they start, of course, with a few statistics of Apple's company. So, as usual, pretty much at every event they do that. So they first started talking about a new publisher coming to the iBooks or the Books application on the iPad. So Random House is now a new publisher on the iPad. 10 million books have been downloaded, 200 million Apple IDs have been created, $200 billion have been paid to application developers, 100 million iPhones have been sold, 15 million iPads have been sold in 2010, 65,000 iPad apps. And then they kind of started talking about other companies, or kind of dissing them and accusing them from copycats and such, which might be true or not. I mean, it's not like Apple was the first to come out with the tablet, so I don't know if it was really a great idea of Apple doing that, but they started talking as well of Honeycomb, which is Android's new tablet operating system, that it only had 100 apps, which was nothing compared to their amount of apps. And then they started talking about Samsung and other stuff, saying that we're copycats, and that 2011 was the year of copycats. And then they actually start to talk about the interesting stuff, which is of course the iPad 2. Now, the iPad 2, they start off with saying it's a brand new design. So it's kind of a brand new design. I mean, it's thinner and stuff like that, but yeah, then they start talk about the A5 processor that's in it. Or actually, they started before that. They started about talking about the cameras, which was the main subject, or the first subject coming out. So the iPad 2 now has rear-facing and front-facing camera. So that was kind of rumored, kind of obvious. New processor, of course, A5 processor, much faster. The usual upgrades, that Apple always has. The iPad 2, of course, now also has a gyroscope. It's thinner. It's actually much thinner. It used to be 13.4 millimeters, and it's now 8.8 millimeters, which is pretty damn thin. So that's great. Of course, it became lighter, not much lighter. It's 1.3 pounds now. I think it is. It used to be 1.5 pounds. It now comes in two colors, so you can choose between a black iPad 2 or a white iPad 2. So it's not as racist anymore. Can you say that? No, I'm not gonna say that. Well, it still has the same battery. At least it has still the same capability of the battery. So still up to 10 hours and 1 month in standby time. You can now choose between two carriers, at least in the United States. You can choose between AT&T and Verizon. So that was also rumored, kind of the obvious stuff. So you can now choose between two colors and both of the carriers. So that's great. The prices are exactly the same as the prices it used to be with the first iPad when it got released. So that's good. You have the little price table where you can see all the prices. Of course, the same kind of models or versions, the Wi-Fi and 3G, stuff like that. So that didn't really change. Then they talked about release dates. So the iPad 2 will be released on the 11th of March in the United States, and other countries on the 25th of March. So you can see there's quite a big list of countries. Yep, then they started talking about a few new accessories that are coming to the iPad 2. Now, the first thing to talk about is a new cable. It doesn't really have a name yet, but it's the HDMI cable. It's kind of a cable you put inside your iPad's dock, and then it splits in two. You have a HDMI output, which is up to 1080p resolution, so that's great. And also has next to that charger or another dock connector, so you can connect it to your computer and to an HDMI at the same time, so you can charge it and at the same time use that HDMI output. So that's also great. That was also rumored to have a new kind of video output coming to the iPad. Then they talk about a brand new accessory that nobody didn't really talk about yet, that wasn't rumored at all, so that's really brand new. It's called smart covers. Now, it's kind of a cover you have for your iPad. It's not a case, it's really a cover, but at the same time you can use it in many different ways. You can use it as a stand as well, and it kind of has this magnetic system in it, and you can fold it in many different ways, and it pretty much is a stand for your iPad, both in landscape and in portrait mode. So that's a really cool new accessory. They talked about iOS 4.3, so that already was announced. A lot of it, at least, was announced already by developers. I mean, there was already a beta out for that. The first thing they talk about was increase Safari performance. So they added this new Nitro JavaScript engine to it, which pretty much makes it faster somehow. I have no idea how. Then they talked about iTunes home sharing. So if you don't know what that is, you can pretty much sync all your computers with your iPad at the same time, as long as you're at home with the Wi-Fi connection. Well, you probably already heard of that. That's a really kind of short summary about it. But yep, they talked about also some AirPlay improvements. So if you don't know what AirPlay is, you can just pretty much press play on your iPad and it plays on the other device at the same time. So that's cool. Or you can stream media straight to your iPad. I think that's also possible. So all these kind of usual stuff, or which were kind of already rumored, so that's not a huge thing. Then they talked about the hotspot. So there's now a hotspot for the iPad. So if you have a 3G version of the iPad, you can now create a hotspot for other devices, although only the iPhone 4 up till now. Of course, there will definitely be a hotspot for the iPhone 5 and stuff like that. But for now, the hotspot on the iPad only works with the iPhone 4. So it's great if you have an iPhone, but yeah, I don't know if a lot of people have an iPad and an iPhone nowadays. So yeah. Then they kind of started to go more in depth in the cameras. First off, they showed off a few different video effects or camera effects, kind of the same effects you had in photo booth on the Mac. You have a lot of different funny effects that are fun and stuff. And they also showed just after that the FaceTime, of course, coming to iPad. So really just rumored features that we're pretty much 100% sure to come to the new iPad. Then they talked about two new applications, or two new Apple applications coming to the iPad. Now both iMovie and GarageBand will come to the iPad. Now these are not default applications. They will retail on the App Store for $5. So pretty cool, I think. I think the iMovie's application is going to be pretty cool because on the iPhone, it just is a little too small to actually do some video editing on it. Well, just some basic one that was okay, but actually started playing around with iMovie and the iPhone was a little tricky. So on the iPad, I think that's going to be quite a good improvement. So what they showed off of it was pretty nice. And again, both of those will retail for $5, and they'll come out on the App Store exactly at the same time as the iPad 2 on March 11th. So that's it pretty much for the iPad 2. Then they kind of showed off an advertisement or ads for the iPad 2, of course, summarizing everything that I just talked about in this recap video. So that's it for the iPad 2 and all its new features. So thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. That's always much appreciated. But what's even more appreciated is if you just simply like this video. Really liking the video really helps out a lot, especially with the new YouTube layout. So I just wanted to thank you already in advance if you like this video, and be sure to leave some comments if you have any questions and such about the new iPad 2. Just be sure that I'm releasing this video right now, although not all the features have been announced yet, since nobody really has the iPad 2 yet. So of course, much more videos to come about the iPad 2, and yeah, we'll see what's coming and what I haven't talked about yet. So again, I'll thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.